So, hello everyone, and welcome back to some more Tyranny here on Twitch streams and later on in YouTube as well. And I was just talking indeed already about a little bit. What choices will we do? I guess indeed we know where we should go first, but then there's a lot of choices, at least in the future. Where should we go? I guess I should be talking to Barrick actually first, because it seems like he has something that he wants to talk about, so sure. What is it, Barrick? Only the slightest nod of Barrick's domed helm offers any indication that the soldier noticed your approach. Well, it's true that it shouldn't be very surprising. It shouldn't surprise you that Archon to none would not unmake what was wrought by the Overlord's wrath. Surprise, no. Disappoint, yes. The Archon's decision changes nothing. I have persevered to this point. I shall continue to do so, for the sake of General Ash and the North. Well, it's true that there may be another way, but what that another way is, now that's a question. Well, there may be another way. The Master was very specific in his sentence. He forbade not only assistance from the Wardsbound, but from anyone, anywhere in the world. Well, this is true, maybe. And no, the Archon forbade any subject of Kairos to aid you, which is true too, I guess. But I'll say that perhaps some other way to free you will present itself. It is plausible. We'll see. We'll find out. Your optimism does you credit, Fatebinder, though I fear it misapplied. I solemnly swear. This is true. I wanna say this because I actually did oversaw that full place. I oversaw the Legions crossing during the war. The Forgebound there know me. Knowing you and being willing to brave the Adjudicator's threat, for you are two wholly separate things. Let us leave, Fatebinder. I worry that my present offends these nobles' precious sensibilities. He bows his head to you and moves away, trailing behind him the faffing reek of a fetid privy. Apparently. Hello Milan, welcome to a stream for you too. Good evening to you, as in hyvää iltaa. And welcome. So, where did we need to go first? That's just the reputations. Do we get still anything more from Barrick, is my question. Well, we have this. Fear one is close, but not quite there yet. So, the trial of Archons, Tunon is displeased with the chaos that emerged from Ventrian's well, and believes that one of the warring Archons may be principally responsible for the civil war that now grips the tiers. As you travel the younger realms, take note of the evidence of the Neclean's incompetence or outright treason found within the disfavored or Scarlet Chorus. I especially do not trust Scarlet Chorus because there's been those, like, okay, Ash said that his son was like, they were captured, but then they were released because the Outbreakers do not kill their prisoners, and where they could have been released then? Now that's a good question. All uncovered evidence will be listed here. Maybe both of them, to some degree. Maybe just because of the fact that they didn't like each other's. Who knows? Maybe. I am at least a-okay, Milan. Just some stress about school stuff. Then into the Maelstrom. The War of the Archons has begun. Support Craven Ash's initial attempts to pacify the Tears. So meet Craven Ashe at the Iron Heart. And the fate of Aegis. Barik wants to know if there's a way he can be freed from his armored prison. And then Styrian visions. Whatever you did in the Ascension Hall in Ventrian's Well has given you the power to interact with the Spire. Before you ascended to Spire, you had a vision when the edict broke. Understanding this vision might help you better grasp this new power you have acquired. Indeed, that is still, like, even though going into the Spire in the Lytian's Crossing is probably something that the Kairos wouldn't want me to do, at least for some reasons. Like there's so many rules that we shouldn't be doing, but on the other hand, I am serving Kairos and my specifically this guy. Suddenly don't remember that name, but so we still have some more options. But I guess the fact of where we should go is to do this first, meet Gravenash at Ironheart, and after that then probably go into the Ventrian's Well, because, well, that is even the place that I covered. So it just, in the Lytian's Crossing, I mean, it's just that I want to go there. I want to. For more than a few reasons, because Lytian's Crossing was the place I covered. Alrighty. I hope it will be fine. And yes, Tunon, that's the name. But like I said, I just couldn't suddenly remember what was the name? What the heck was the name? But the Ironheart is all the way in here, which is, I'm not sure, like, is that what we should do next first before going into this area? Because I know that I want to be going into, like, in this direction, because that's, like, the place, right? Like, this is the place we have now acquired. This is our place. And this is the place which we saw in the vision, and where the Lytian's Crossing is, which we covered, is over here, to my understanding. Or should we go all the way into here? But this is a really far away distance. It feels so much more logical to go there when we would be going into here, but I guess this is the thing that we should really do. But I guess both of these are kind of our quests even. Your memory displeases to know. Yes, I am certain about that, but hey, my memory ain't always the best. Depends, of course, but I'm especially not good with names, so yes, not good with names. So what do you guys say? Should we go to the Ironheart to meet up with the Craven Ashe, even though it is a long journey, but hey, maybe there's more chances of random encounters, so that's cool. There can be a lot of cool random encounters to get overall. Or should we go into here even though it's close? But on the other hand, it doesn't look like I can choose it, so maybe I have to go here. So fine, let's go to the Ironheart then. Sure. Something is happening at least. Encounter in the Bastard Tier. Taking a break from your journey at the small freshwater pond, you notice several small trouts in the soft soil at the water's edge. Mud has been splattered about, and you recognize it as a telltale sign of wild hogs. Nearby hoofprints confirm your suspicions. The markings seem fresh. The animal can't be far. I didn't even have that option when I played. The paths are so different this game as in the options to go to Ironheart. Maybe it's just the fact that I have all the DLC then. Didn't you have all the DLCs, or is it then indeed that because our choices are so different, have been so different, that is the reason. I guess that's the reason you mean. Well, I don't know if you chose even to side with the disfavored and stuff, so I wouldn't be able to say. Hunt have verse. Hunt it. Well, verse definitely would do better than me. Let it go. Verse, you can do it, and I believe in you. I have no knowledge of both. Verse. With pleasure, Verse says with a grin. She sniffs her armpits, okay, not slightly, then glances up at you. What? They can smell you coming if you're not careful. She stalks off the road. Hours later, she returns, empty-handed and scowling. Leave it, she grunts as she turns down the road. A final muttered oath makes its way to you. Fucking pigs. Apparently not really doing very well with that. I guess it's still like she liked the fact that she was chosen there. Was appreciative of your feisty cute inclination. But fine. Well, you didn't do it though, Verse, so good job, I guess. So that's a long distance. A high lore skill is required to create the most powerful spell combinations. I think Ironheart is open in the beginning if you side with Dishonored. Yeah, that's what I assumed. Yeah, it's probably because I sided with the Ventrian Guard. Yeah, that's what I assumed. That's probably the case. Most likely case. Okay, disfavored camp then. The soldier looks at Verse with an unsettled frown. I'm ready to march wherever the great general gives the call. Whenever. Can't go there. Hit him with your left. Knock him out. Fox trick.
Can't do that.
I didn't mean you to go and try to drop off or anything. That's God, we're better watch her step. She's with us. The Tiesmans are fools to deny Kairos' peace. Yes. Half-wasted. How can someone be half-wasted? Fist fights with Countless. Ouch. Half-wasted. Alfonso. The disfavored soldier chuckles with disdain at the Scarlet Chorus fighter. Oh, there's the one of them is Scarlet Chorus fighter. You mean? Consider it. Not for a second. We pick our soldiers from elite northern families. We don't recruit from flies bustling over a mass grave. How is that? Is indeed this guy. What it is wavered, so narrow-minded. My gang's strength delivered us across half a dozen battles with a line of fallen enemies in our wake. Not many conscripts can say the same. The question is not a matter of your skill, but of your breeding, your training, your pedigree. Noticing you, the Iron Guard salutes. Hail, Craven Ashay. Fatebinder, if I might take a moment of your time. What do you need? This person comes representing a Scarlet Chorus gang. What did you call yourself again? The Grinning Bleeders. We have a long and storied reputation in the Scarlet Chorus ranks. Killers of the highest order, my gang. He puffs up his chest with pride. Before I was a boss here, I run with the Broken Shits, the Salty Nightmares and Trap gang. Everyone made a name for themselves during the war. You made up at least 2 of those gangs and don't even bother denying it. Just be careful what names you toss around when there's a former boss standing within earshot, you little peasant. So apparently not quite as glorious as he claims. Yeah, Ashay heals. This gang named Salty Nightmares. Yeah, some of them were quite special. Broken Shits, Salty Nightmares, Trap Gang. One of his eyebrows snaps up at attention. Verse, so kind of you to chime in with your corrections. In any case, he's asking to join the disfavored, which is out of the question. I've explained the numerous reasons why we can't allow it, but the wretch won't listen. Is that accurate? It is. We're not looking for special treatment, just a new beginning. Seeing as we're healthy, fit, and combat ready, the Ironclads should have no reason to refuse us. He sniffs, especially since they're low on numbers. But on the other hand, I understand, sure, I think it would be a great thing that these guys wouldn't be in the Scarlet Chorus as in their enemies. But on the other hand, can they completely trust them? What if they would have decided to come from the Scarlet Chorus and decided to go and spy for the voice of Nerad? It's can't really, I don't know. I would like to offer them some other choice that they can maybe come and defend the town, which I own, or something. But yeah, I don't think they should join the disfavored. But I wouldn't want them to go back to the voices of Nerad either. So... That may be true, but it's no excuse to pollute our respectable ranks with your company. We're more than capable. Put any weapon in our hands or send us on any suicide mission. It will be mercy compared to what we face under the voices of Nerat. That much is true, at least. There's something to be said for a general who isn't going to cut you in your sleep because it suits his flair for the artistic. Those are the first fair words I've heard you speak about General Ashe. Perhaps you are coming around. Then you can count on them being the last, you overfull midden pile. If we joined up, the disfavored wouldn't have to compromise their staunch, not in morals. We would take the bloody work off their hands. Do you want me to decide the matter? You must know Kairos' laws back to front, and I trust you know our traditions as well. If it peels this lamprey off my backside, I'll allow it. Speaking of my gang, we'll accept your judgment. We are eager to crack some Tiesman skulls with Kairos' army again, no matter what color they wear. Let me take your testimony first. Of course, I have nothing to hide. Why this interest in the disfavored? Better training, better quarters, iron weapons, the disfavored have everything we wanted out of joining the military. We want to serve Kairos to the best of our abilities. Is that asking too much? Old Ironclad here seems to think so. Their respect for command leaves something to be desired. I'm not too surprised you would say that. Why did you leave the Scarred Chorus? Our old gang boss fell at the last battle of Mentrian's Well. We saw how the disfavored operated and realized it was a chance for a better life. A longer one, too. Desertion happens every day in the Scarred Chorus. I can tell you that we won't be missed. He says that like he's boasting. Only the shitheel recruits who never make a name for themselves are overlooked at muster. Why can't the recruit join the disfavored? Most of us would rather swallow our tongues than take orders from some rigid officer who talked his way into leadership. But to each their own. Where do I start? Not only does Craven Ashe handpick his disfavored from the decorated Norton stock, he takes a personal interest in our training and education. We are his sons and daughters. To accept anything less in our ranks would hold the very process in contempt. The only capacity they could serve would be manual labor, hauling wagons or digging lanterns. But that's the work of slaves, and not what they've come requesting. What is my help worth to you? We're playing that game, are we? He grins. I managed to pocket a few handfuls of rings, fair trade, for starting a new life. Stealing from the boss is a good way to find yourself at the end of a pike. Be prepared to change your name before the end of the war. Yeah, that's not a good idea. It would be so wrong for me to accept the rings. As you wish. You're ruling then. Looks like spies. Spies belong on a spike. You're living up to your name, Caesar. I sided with Voices of Neratu in my first playthrough. Very much a different path then. Well, I'm ready to make my ruling. Good. Whatever's where, we're prepared to stand by it. Execution is... no. That's a little bit too much. It's interesting that I don't even have the option anymore to allow them in. And of course, it would never have been that we could allow them in. The maximum would have been that we could have said that go and train. You can train with this favorite, but you can't do anything else. But I understand why they would be asking for that, but yeah. I don't know how they would go back to living the normal life either, so... But of course, I can't go and execute them. Hard labor, I know they didn't choose it, but... I don't know. I think I would go for the second the most. Yeah, I would have liked to just send them to do something else. Like, to serve me, I could be okay with that. Maybe let them train here for a moment, ask this favor to do me a favor of letting them train here for a moment, and then that, okay, you come into this location and guard this location for me. But obviously I would think that it's a bad option for them to be staying with the disfavored, just for the risk that they might be spies, even though it's unlikely, considering, like I said, they don't seem to be very high in the ranks in the Voices of Nerat's side, or Scarlet Chorus. And, well, what else did I want to say? What Tunon would do? Well, Tunon might execute them. Execution is always on the table in this game, but I honestly don't support it here. Yeah, they even left the site that was actually against that, so yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that. But then this seems more of a punishment, so for me this seems like the neutral option. But on the other hand, the question is, how well can they manage to think of going and living back some civilian lives is a great question. And where would they go? It does kind of feel that it's kind of abandons them, just like, okay, you aren't able to come into here, but yeah, I don't think that there's a better choice. No execution, and yeah, this just feels a little bit wrong too. This is kind of punish them that, okay, you're gonna be doing this sort of labor then for them. On the other hand, of course, it already gives them a place to stay and gives them a work, but on the other hand, it again would be under disfavored, so... Wish that I could just say to them that they could go and guard my place. Okay, I guess I'll choose this, but I'm unsure about if this is the best one. Second option might be releasing Ash, maybe. But yeah. You are no longer in the military. Go live civilian lives and keep Kairos' peace as best you can. Loyalty with Barik and favor with disfavored. Mercy, compassion, more than they deserve, but I'm glad to see it all the same. We've seen too much in the Scarlet Chorus to return to a normal life, but I won't deny that putting down roots is a tempting idea, he sighs. In time, the chorus may just conscript us all over again. Yeah, that's what I would be saying, that they would need to have to be in a safe enough of a location. At least they've gotten some training, so maybe they can resist them better now. Gained Frat with Bleeding Mark. As long as it gets them out of Ash's fort, it suffices for my needs. Thank you, Fatebinder. Well, good luck with your civilian lives. Best of luck. Let me steal. Because no one cares that I steal.
Have a look here.
Welcome to the Iron Heart, thank you. You're very forgiving of these searches. I know, but at least they deserted someone that we actually, or the site that we would otherwise be killing. I didn't have a life before the Legion. How else can we subdue the lawless frontier but through slaughter? I'm cooking stew for the other troops, it's mostly leeks and marrow. This dog tips its head in quizzical, expectant manner. I guess it's waiting for a meal. Now that you made the decision, I can say that I had them digging land trees. What did they say about that? Putting them there. But yeah, that's like the only problem of them coming civilians is the fact that they were already recruited, they were forced into military service, and they have already that life. And then the second fact is that, well, then there is a risk that Scarlet Chorus might find them again and recruit them again. So yeah, definitely some problems with that, but, well. Let me get your stuff. One quality I share with the Chorus, I take delight in interrogation the wicked. Greetings, Fatebinder, Akalos 32nd Legion. The soldier salutes, glad to see Tunan's agent Gray's Iron Heart. As his troop has no lack of order, but the servant of the court is always welcome. Between our mission's commanders and a Scarlet Chorus lieutenant in town, I'm afraid we have our hands full. I suppose I can spare a moment for conversation. You need something from me? Tell me about the Scarlet Chorus lieutenant, or lieutenant. Lieutenant is such a weird word, lieutenant. However, I supposedly should be saying it, but it's a very freaking weird word to say, pronounce. Tell me about the Scarlet Chorus, lieutenant. Seems our troops have this little maggot of a Scarlet Chorus lieutenant cornered over at the Kedo village. From what I'm hearing, it's the same guy who's been ransacking our caravans the past few weeks. If I wasn't already handling some for Ashe, I'd go and skin the field myself. You being here simplifies matters. Make sure this lieutenant doesn't leave the village with his life. Okay, I will handle it. Kedo village is now unlocked in the World Matters. Or Kaido. Good of you to pitch in, and no one will mourn the loss of one more Chorus rat. He marks location on your map. More questions before I go? Not a problem. What do you need? Naturally, you have my undivided attention. How did you join the disfavored? Head of the conquest, Grave Nashe sent recruiters to all the outlying towns, looking for 30 talent. The village held a tourney and melee to demonstrate our local muscle. Nothing fancy, mind you, it was mostly fighting on hay bales with wooden spears. I had the distinction of topping even the biggest contender. A familiar tale, and one after my own heart. Parik nods with respect. It's a good thing I succeeded. I'm more useful to Kairos on the field of battle than a field of wheat. Tell me about your home in the north. I hail from the Bellamy Well, a small hamlet far west of Kairos' capital. It's nothing glorious, but I can trace 6 generations back there, so it's home. I hope to return there someday with a heap of tales, rings, and renown. Once Craven Ashe gave me his favor and recruited me to join the army. My family went from respectable farmers to elite folk. Better recorded or respected than damn near anyone. They must be doing well for themselves. Where were you during the conquest? You could say I've seen the tears from top to bottom. I dug latrines at our encampment at the gates of judgment, then my promotion sent me to Legion's Crossing. Got into a few rows with the Bronze Brotherhood, not a pretty sight. Then I had a brief deployment in Apex, but the fighting was winding down around when I arrived. After that, I did a tour of Stalwart, but got transferred out before the edict tore everything apart. Okay, farewell thee then. New quest. Yeah, digging lanterns can lead to a promotion apparently. I didn't know that he would even do such a thing. The stall contains spoils acquired on the battlefield, all of it neatly labeled and organized. What's up with you guys then? Yeah, you are also Scarlet Chorus. Why? Why are you here? Don't mind my prisoner. Okay. Foxtrick is your prisoner. Kind of you to stop and chat. I'm in the sickest situation and no one in my gang is alive or around to help me out. Stop wasting the Fatebinder's time. She has better things to do than listen to some criminals mewling. Well, I'll be the judge of that. Tell me of your problem, soldier. Thanks for hearing me out. The disfavored aren't keen on conversation. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. It's impossible to get a word in edgewise, she glares at her captor. Soldiers got me outside a breach in the old walls. That's it. I wasn't inside. I hadn't stuck my toe through the threshold, and I wasn't dancing with my bane. I have a healthy relation with self-preservation. Yeah, outside the breach in the old walls. So didn't go inside, but close by the breach in the old walls. Then why were you arrested? You're only hearing one side of the story, Fatebinder. Our scouts observed this wretch ready to enter the old walls. Her account is flawed, her guilt witnessed by multiple trustworthy Northerners. The soldier makes a point of standing extra straight when he addresses you. Extra straight. What is extra straight? Extra straight like an arrow. These disfavored soldiers are walking fire hazards. Good thing they aren't any straw huts. Yeah, maybe. I'm sorry. Is ready to enter the best you have? Because I could just easily argue that you're ready to get knifed between your shoulder blades, but it doesn't count for shit until I see blood and bronze. I didn't go into the old walls. Case closed. Before I adjudicate on this matter, I need your mutual cooperation. If you ask me, this prisoner has already been tried and sentenced, but if this little game will silence her caterwauling, then be my guest. I'll stand by your decision. It couldn't land me anywhere worse than this. Possible. So what were you doing outside of the old walls? My gang went inside. As I tried to tell the disfavored clothes 100 times over, I shouted myself raw trying to get them back out, but the gang was having none of it. Our leader discovered the breach and got himself excited over the chance of finding treasure. Try as I might, I couldn't talk him out of it. Soldier, can you speak to this defense? I wasn't there, of course, but I'm familiar with the arrest record. There was no gang, just a lone opportunist out to make her fortune breaking Kairos' law. The scouts could tell just by looking at her that she was headed for the breach. She's a fiery one. Put up quite of a fight when they took her into custody. I have no reason to doubt the charges. So you had no interest in entering the old walls? Never. I grew up in the tiers. Even we knew better than to go inside the old walls. If not because of Kairos' law, because the things lurking inside were like to eat us. Whatever you can think in the shadow of those ruins, it's not worth the risk. Whatever you can find in the shadows of those ruins. So what was your gang doing in the old walls? Causing trouble, looting, no more or less than what gangs do. Our boss was obsessed with holding his position, which is healthy when you're in the Scarlet Chorus. When he came to the conclusion that the old walls might have some powerful artifacts, he resolved himself to find one at all cost. Funny to see a guy so wrapped up in survival trying to get himself killed. Typical behavior from someone who isn't confident in their leadership. Makes for a nice self-fulfilling prophecy when their own gang takes them out. See, she understands. Fox trick posed the verse. I was hoping that verse would talk sometimes to tell me a little bit more like what might or might not be trustworthy, but I was myself thinking too that would explain why the boss would go there. Why so many of the gang followed is a different question. I can't say much about that. And then of course no one else saw the gang, which is a problem. As you can imagine, I was Tuno's favorite Fatebinder. Where you now? Look like lies. Liars belong. I can guess what you would be saying. Any idea where your gang is now? I never saw them make it out of the old walls, so either they did or they didn't. My money is on the latter. If they made it out, they aren't wasting their breath trying to find me. So fuck them. I like the attitude. If I had a mind to recruit, she would be my second or third. What's favorable ruling third to you? No. Did your gang cause the breach in the old walls? What? Are you kidding me? it would either take incredible force or incredible magic to pass through that ancient barrier. We had neither at our disposal. Either one of Kyrositics or some local mage caused the breach. Whatever ruling you make, don't pin that on me. I'm inclined to agree. Don't make the mistake of giving this one too much credit. What's the favorable ruling word to you? I guess I can ask that, but it's like, I will always say no in the end. She's not. I'd love to help you there, but the disfavored took everything I had. Pity, I had a mountain of rings that I would have split. You can thank our mutual friend over there. She nods at Stone Shield. The young lady was captured with some rusted weapons and a pittance of rings. I would hardly call that a mountain. You have your story, I have mine. Well, let's try to make a judgment. Let's have it then. I hope you got everything you needed. But yeah, it's of course I can understand if you don't believe her testimony. That's a-okay. If she would be entering or trying to enter the old walls, then she could be already charged. So second option is not okay because she was still close by there. But it's just a question, do I want to go for this? And I probably will, because it's like, I can't say no. But again, if she will be again found in a similar position, she would definitely then be not believed, like at all. But yeah, there is no 100% proof that she would have. Like, they could only know that for certainty if they waited a little bit longer to see for certain that she was going in. However, it's not like I actually trust it completely. But well, I guess I'll say this because I can't say the other ones. Or it feels wrong to just find her guilty. When we went there, of course, it's a little bit problematic. Fine. At the very least, the evidence is insufficient to prove the charges. Yeah, the evidence is just that the people said that they saw her outside the walls and said that they would have thought that she would be planning to go in there. But that's not a certain proof. So fine. At the very least, the evidence is insufficient to prove the charges. You are free to go. Shrewd, Fatebinder, very shrewd. I think he'll do just fine. Legal technicalities are my favorite kind. Go rejoin the forever with the new Kang recruit. Start your own if you have a mind to. That's an order. Yes, ma'am. If you were catering a force, I'd kill my way into your good graces. Pity, I have to settle for less. This goes against any orders and my reason, but I cannot argue the ruling of Tunon's agent. I'll let you go, try and stay out of trouble. I'll stay out of the old walls, but that's all I can promise. At least stay out of the old walls, because that's the place which, if you ever try that again and you're found out, then, well, I can't say anything about. You stayed out of prisonhood after that. Well, I'm making all sort of judgments. Wow, some favor with the Scarlet Chorus. For a change. Also, hardly any friend with them after all. Blade and Mark was actually a pretty good amount of favor. Blade and Mark was watching when I did the decision before. Like, it was the decision of letting them just go and try to go and live civilian lives. So... the stall contains spoils acquired on the battlefield, all of it neatly labeled and organized. A bronze dagger and other loots. The soldier looks at Verse with an unsettled frown. I can sleep here if I wish. Who needs sleep though? Edict of Storms is already in here. Range damage minus accuracies. Cool. Cool. I've been guarding this portcullis since we took Ironheart from its defenders. Toki. Bark. Wow. The fire feels good. Uh-huh. Well, at least you're not touching it with your hand, I guess. You're just poking it with the sword over and over and over again. Well, don't... or whatever it is. Is it... I assume it's a sword that looks like a scimitar of some sort. Would think that it's getting pretty hot with that though, so... be careful where you place it afterwards. Sometimes I get dizzy. Wow. This favorite gets dizzy from time to time. Strange. As you can imagine, yeah. Killed 89 Ventrian guard. Afterwards that girl. Or I killed 89 Ventrian guard because I let her go free. What do you mean? They put up quite a fight, but that is where it stamped out those southern rats.
Have a look here.
Yay.
Sorry,
you.
I can't. Right.
Osmium. You must be the Fate Binder of Tunon, the disfavored Ironwalker. Bose, welcome to the Iron Heart. I'm sure Craven Ashe appreciates any help you can offer. Circumstances have a way of coming together so that the disfavored are always stretched thinner than we would like. What can I do for you? Why are the disfavored so overworked? She rubs her palm together and frowns. We're trying to shoulder the brunt of the civil war without the strength of numbers. The Scarlet Corps can throw 1,000 disposable bodies at an issue without a second thought, but we're forced to be a little more discriminating. We might be trained to deal with the stress of combat and all-night drills, but we're fatigued even by the high standard we set for ourselves. She studies you in a cautious manner. Not that I need to burden an agent of the court with my misgivings. Once the war is over and the tears are probably subdued, my hope is that Kairos dispatches some relief troops to support the occupation. We all deserve a season of rest. The court is always receptive to the needs of soldiers. Your point is noted. That's very generous of you to say, Fateminder. I'm grateful to know that someone is listening. A nervous smile brightens her expression. Where were you during the conquest? After the Edict of Storms hit, I spent some time among the ruins of Stalwart, digging out survivors from the Legion. Afraid I didn't find much. She glances up at Barrick. You must have moved on by then, or else we would have assembled a team to excavate you. My prison moved with me. There was no reason to tarry. He bows his head respectfully. I still think about the brothers and sisters we left behind. Sometimes I can imagine that I hear the voices carry on wind. I'll be on my way then. I train day and night, both walking and sleeping. Okay. The production of new potion isn't keeping up with demand. Many of these bottles remain empty. That's unfortunate. Some more stuff, and then whoever you may be. Even though you're not a fully fledged disfavored recruit, I've been authorized to grant you purchasing rights from our stores. Within certain limits, of course. Would you like to see what we have to offer? What limits are those? It's nothing personal, I assure you. Craven Ashe wants us to control our supplies without restriction. The restriction adjusts to his army's supporters like yourself. The finest arms and present provisions are reserved for the soldiers under his direct command. I am sure you understand. The Archon takes our protection very seriously. I could be saying that, but understood. Let's see what you can offer me. Okay, much stuff. Do I have this? I don't think so. It's kind of expensive though. Sigil of Stone. Then we could start to do earth magics. Probably something I could also find from somewhere, but it's like I don't know which ones should I buy and which ones shouldn't I buy. Ah, it was on your frat screen on the venturing guard, and yeah, you do have to kill some. Sad times. Can you kill 0? I think you still have to kill some. Sad times. Sigil of Stone. I guess I'll buy it. I don't need to buy that though. I won't buy any of those. Fine. Let me just get this so I can learn something new. Learn. Yay. Cool. Now we can use Sigil of Stone for something. Evoking energy through the Sigil of Stone takes great force of will, as rock is not easily shaped to a human desire. Perhaps the newest magical sigil on Terratus, the Sigil of Stone, was developed by disciples of the Archon Cairn. Since the Archon of Stone's destruction by Kairos' edict in the year 430 TR, the Earthshaker mages have devoted themselves to preserving Cairn's legacy and learning to harness the power of the obdurate sigil. I guess I should read these all. I don't remember, did I read them all? I think I read some of them at least previously, but let's just read them all. Why not? Use the Sigil of Frost to drain heat and energy into the void, condensing water into frost and afflicting targets with intense cold. Long a closely held secret of the school of Boreal Frost, the mages surrendered his knowledge to Kairos after the Northern general Craven Ashe was defeated by the Overlord's forces. Sigil of Vigor infuses a target with energy, enhancing the mind or body with greater power. Vigor can be highly addictive to weaker minds. Ambitious mages in Kairos' court have been known to use doses of Vigor to enthrall courtiers, building networks of power and influence based on their target's desperate need for one more spell. That sounds so weird. So it's like drugs. When you do weaker spells, it's like drugs. That's what I understand from that. Sigil are good investment if you ask me. They are, certainly, but there is like a lot of stuff. A lot of those that we didn't buy yet, which like, well, there would be so many I would like to get. Like in the tower that we got those sellers into, our Spire, there was definitely a lot of these things for sale too. I know you didn't though. Now I'm like, did I miss something? Well, I didn't know you didn't though. Okay, anyway, Sigil of Lightning. Channel energy through the Sigil of Lightning, personal sigil of the Archon of Storms, governor of the Blasted Reach district in Kairos' empire. Few are able to unlock the full potential of this sigil, as the summoned lightning is hard to control. Sigil of Illusion. Those who master the Sigil of Illusion are skilled in the arts of deceit and trickery, using its powers to misdirect and confuse their targets at critical moments. Often derided by combat mages for its inability to kill outright, who specialize in illusion know its powers can turn the tide of any battle. It merely requires someone smart enough to know how to use it. And then Sigil of Life. Using the Sigil of Life infuses the target with the energy of the Orphan Midwife, Archon of Repute. All but the most serious wounds are healed by this arcane energy. Though the Orphan Midwife was powerful, her gifts were not suited to resisting the armies of Kairos. She was captured and chained, and her powers harnessed to serve Kairos' armies. Many counselors of Kairos' empire believed her power were the driving force behind the empire's quick expansion. Sigil of Force. Use the Sigil of Force to channel arcane energy into magical forces that push and knock enemies to the ground. Many mage guilds throughout the centuries discovered the Sigil of Force, and each held it as a jealously guarded secret. As each was conquered and absorbed into Kairos' empire, they were chagrined to discover that their secret was the most commonly known piece of arcane lore on Terratus. Most commonly known. That I definitely did read. And these just, it's just expression for this and this and this, so on and forth. So I had the far going, Rhine Spike, Electric Jolt, far going haste for everyone, lightens the target's body by enchanting them to repel resisting forces. Move faster and reduces recovery. And then that was the shield that do shock damage to enemies that attack. Healing and mirror image. Well, what would be different earth spells? What does this do? Petrified Affliction. Coat an enemy in rock and earth, petrifying them. This spell is very inaccurate. Well, yeah, accuracy minus 20, so definitely would need the accuracy sigil or something to at least make it so that it's not that inaccurate. So now it might even actually hit something. It sounds cool though, but definitely would need to have this. Coat an enemy in rock. Petrifying the spell's very inaccurate. She could learn it if I wish to give her that. Stone Spike, on the other hand, cross and pierce damage. Range 8 meters. Draw a jagged spike of a hard stone from the earth and send it flying towards the foe. The spike interrupts the target and deals pierce or crush damage, whichever is greater. So it does either one, depending whichever would do better damage. Cool. And this is Gift of the Golem. +4 to armor to an allied target. Armor all stolen. And then -10, 20% to move speed, which wouldn't be a problem for Barrick if we would be giving this to Barrick, of course. Law required is quite a bit though. Coat the target from head to toe in a large earthen slab of rock. While in this form a movement is restricted, but armor is greatly increased. Gift of the Golem. Sounds cool. As in, you didn't ask me. Alrighty. If you ask me, that's like, I was just like, yeah, I just didn't think about it in that sentence. I was like, Kida's usual style of reading comments is the wrong order, makes understanding sometimes hard. Sure. It's bad, but on the other hand, I did read that this is a good investment if you ask me. I know you didn't though. If I would read them both as the same sentence, that would make it easier to understand, yes. But then, because they are written, then also the fact that they are written into a separate comment, then I think that it might be about something completely different. That I did some other comment that it was referencing to. So it's partially my fault that I just read too fast and read in a wrong order, at least in a lot of times. But also in this case, I still think that there is definitely a possibility that it refers to something else than the comment that Small Fry himself made. So that is also nonetheless the case. And no worries for the misunderstanding. It's my fault more than anyone else's, but I just want to be making sure that I understand. Then it's up to us to build comments that special way to confuse Kire. Thanks. That's gonna be extremely great and helpful. Thank you so much. But okay, this sounds cool too. Like wanting to learn all the shields and everything. Eesh. At least I have a lot of lore skill. I'm grateful that I have this much lore skill. I could give this with the accuracy though. To maybe her. Like, this is definitely something I'm gonna keep. And this is cool too though, to be honest. Petrification seems like a cool thing. Petrifying them. Is it like permanent? No, it's for 8.7 seconds. Definitely, well, if I would be giving this to myself, I would definitely just put all of these boosts into it so that it would be as good as possible, as in then the accuracy is as little minus as possible. It would be able to have a little bit higher range, and then the duration for it is longer. It is a cool idea of a spell. It's just a different thing if I would be like, which spell will I leave behind though? There's so many cool spells. Maybe the haste. Don't wanna get rid of that. I like the idea of this too. Fine. Then I didn't apply it yet. God damn it me. But it sounds like a cool idea, so I would like to give it a shot. Nonetheless. Just a shame that there's so many different things that I would like to be able to do, and then, like, it's not quite that easy. Then this is good too, like, it might be better than this. It just basically does damage to people whenever they hit the person. Enemies that strike the ally are sapped for shock damage, which does make it quicker to kill. But maybe I'll get this when I get more spell slots, I don't know. On the other hand, just the fact of having more armor seems cool, so don't know. I wanna keep this for now. This is so much. Good to see you, Fatebinder. I hope you representing the disfavored will out on your adventures. The soldier hums an autumn lullaby to herself. Bloodshed and magic took my eyes, so I don't fight as well as I used to. That's an unfortunate thing to hear. Sorry to hear that. Okay, we've explored the outskirts of this place. Cool. Yeah, it's not like D&D petrification where they are for all intents and purposes dead. Yeah, not quite the same, but still I assume that they can't probably do anything during that time that they are petrified, which is still cool enough. Love the spell creation here, but don't remember my favorite spells anymore. Was fun collecting and combining the accents. Yeah, definitely fun, very much indeed, very fun. And very different petrification. Yeah, I definitely do assume that I will be keeping the mirror image at least for myself, for sure. I guess I can, of course, have a look if I can improve any of my spells. Like, lore required at the moment is the 75. Can I add anything else? Not quite. Not quite. Not quite. Nope. Well, actually, that I could add if I wanted to. I guess the accuracy itself is actually indeed logical. Yeah. So I can add something to this. So it's just the duration of the spell and accuracy. Intensity. So then it would be stronger. That probably is the best. Like, this is just a range, which is cool, but 2 meters on this isn't that big of a deal. And then the area effect is, yeah, but on the other hand, I couldn't even do that. So that, update, please. So it's updated now so that it uses the 80. Yep. That can't be any better at the moment in time being. This I don't think I could be making any better because, yeah. It's already requiring a lot. This one probably also no. Well, I can of course at least increase the range. Can this not hit? I wonder. Maybe. Well, I can increase the range, so sure. Let's do that. And then this one I have the range. So I can cast it a little bit further at the moment. Not sure actually if that's the best. Like, wouldn't just the time or that it increases those chances even more be way better? I think so. Okay, I think this is cool to have this actually. And then that's 100. Probably nothing else I can add. After that, however, range almost, but not quite. So, update. You probably can't really do too much, but I guess your lore skill is... But yeah, it's still way too small of a lore skill, even for a little bit of extra range for that, so not really gonna happen. Yeah. Not too surprising, of course. That doesn't exactly need that, I wouldn't say. Okay, sure, we can do that. So it has some more range, so if we want to be casting it for someone else, it can be cast at least a little bit further away. This one is then 30. I guess just more accuracy, so that it's more certain that it will hit. Then electric jolt. We haven't added anything here to make it better, so let's do that. Maybe just that then, yeah. Just a little bit more strength for it. That one, of course, I can't do anything about because I do not know it. So this was like a AoE, right? Yeah, cone in front of the character. Can't really be upgraded anyways. This was the title burst. Cone again with the push. Couldn't be upgraded and couldn't be upgraded. Okay, just a little bit updates. Read the damn book, Barricade. But, mirror image, yeah, okay. I did see everything. We can endure 100 times more hardship than any chorus rat. You would bring any spy from the voices here. You would bring a spy here from the voices. She isn't a spy, at least to my knowledge. I wouldn't if I thought she was. The soldier looks at Verse with an unsettled frown. The dungeons. I hope you're marching that yes man to the dungeons, Fatefinder. Har har. To Verse. Or to her, I guess, the needs of the North supersede any one person's desires. It's our responsibility to deserve the honor, Kairos' peace. Home is wherever I go with the Legion. Sure. Graven and Shay's over here. Alrighty. Why is there so many people just like standing here? I can get into here after all nonetheless, even though they're standing there like that. My life for the Legion. War is in our blood, Congress is our birthright. Try not to anger the great general, the war has been hard on him. Well, hasn't it been for everyone, eh? This land is insufferable, no one here is deserving of Kairos' peace. The Scarlet Chorus are an undisciplined mob, we are right to strike them from the face of Teratos. The soldier looks at Verse with an unsettled frown. Of course they would.
On it.
I know how this must look, but I'm not hiding. Are you not? Are you certain about that? When you even say that? I like to see the great general as he paces the training yard.
Sorry, I can't.
That's kind of strange stuff.
On the lookout.
Okay. I think he is hiding. Alright, let's talk to Craven Ash. Fatefinder, it's good you to report in. These days it is difficult enough to judge friend from foe. I am pleased to recognize you as the former of the two, as he favors you with a curt nod. I see you brought the voices of Nerat's spy in word to my doorstep. Unless you think me amused by your irresponsible conduct, know that I am not. Verse is a useful ally. I need her on my side. At least until we get tired of each other's. Don't worry, old man. I'm not going to drive a blade into your spine. Not while you're wearing a breastplate as thick as the old walls anyways. Craven Ashe glares at Verse and returns his severe expression back to you. His mouth is set to a disapproving line, and he seems on the brink of saying more, but waves off the matter. After what transpired at Vengeance Well, the disfavored must hold fast to our allies. You are here because of your support at the siege, but I don't mistake your confidence for devotion. The Scarlet Chorus would not have you. Well, obviously. To be honest, yes. Tunon is our master rather than either disfavored or the Scarlet Chorus. So... You brought a spy? Spy belongs into a spike, I guess. Once a cane, or horns, on top of horns when you have the devilish face. I don't want to serve, like say that I'm serving here, even though he would like it that I would say that. But I don't want to say this either, so I guess I will go for this, even though this is also your petty squabbles. If it didn't say petty squabbles, that would be cool, because yeah, petty squabbles means that like their civil war wouldn't be worthy of note. Like here I would love to have this stop the civil war part, but I would like to say that Tunon is my master rather than me serving the disfavored, because I'm not serving the disfavored. I am above serving the disfavored. I have a different boss than Craven Ash. So yeah. Second is out of the options. I'm gonna say this then because of the just fact that the Scarlet Chorus would not have you. Well, I wouldn't be joining Scarlet Chorus nor his favored. Tunon is my master, and he stands above your petty squabbles. I do not agree that they're petty squabbles, but I do not want to just say this then either. I do want to clarify that Tunon is my master. If he stood above them, then he could see well enough how the voices of Nerat has conspired against our forces since the beginning. No, for all his claims of objectivity, I have my suspicions that your educator is as compromised by this war as any of us. What is you require? What is it? RPG choices are never diplomatic enough. Nope, not diplomatic enough. I do not like. Because I don't want to be just kissing ass by saying that I'm here to stop the civil war and to do the pitting of the disfavored, because I'm not planning to join them ever after all, nonetheless. Tell me about yourself. I'm a family man. I've always believed that culture is grown from a family legacy and respect for the past. I've sired 4 children in my long life. Asherlyn, Priam, Amelia and Penix. I'm a general to my soldiers, but a father as well. They have my confidence, my love and my trust. There is nothing more to give. My days on Teratos span many more than any human lifetime, and on this journey I have learned much. It must be said that I have also grown stubborn. I believe that matters must be handled in a particular way, and see no reason to waver in those beliefs, as they are the product of my experience. Well, tell me about Asherlyn. My first and proudest accomplishment. What strength she had. During the conquest of the Northern Empire, she was slain by Blood Echo, the madman who once laid claim to the title of Archon of War. I would later cut his head from his shoulders with Asherlyn's broken sword. He continued to scream 4 minutes after the deed was done. I miss her to this day. Would that she had lived long enough to bring a family of her own into this world. Imagine me, her grandfather. Sad that that didn't quite happen. Who was Priam? My son, born to the life I enjoyed before I was an Archon. He fell to a wasting illness caused by pox. The Archon of Ruin. Disease was but one of many weapons wielded during the conquest of the North. Were he still alive, he would have sat at my right hand, for he was wise in counsel and strategy beyond his years, perhaps even beyond mine. Tell me about Amelia. She has her father's stubborn persistence. She is an excellent fighter, though more brazen and eager to test herself on the field of battle. I have objected to this disposition in the past, but it seems as integral to her being as the very breath she draws. Amelia, she has been missing from the Legion since the fighting escalated in Stalwart. After her advanced detachments made their way into the depths of enemy territory, we lost contact. I fear for her, Fatebinder. I fear for her daily, and not knowing has turned this war into a nightmare. So Amelia is lost, missing in action, but on the other hand, she might actually be alive. So one of his kids might be alive, because Prenix is then the one that he knows is dead, that was captured and died. I'm pretty sure at least that that's the case, because these two already died a long freaking time ago. Amelia, maybe we can find her. That would be cool if we can find her. It's worded like that to imply you're throwing your fate around, I guess. I guess so. What about Prenix? My youngest and most beloved. He was joyful and loving, a soldier like his father, and fiercely devoted to his countrymen. He held the most horrid jokes. But he was taken captive at Ventrin's Well and later died. I could feel his life at the moment it was extinguished. The circumstances were unusual. None of the quick violence brought about by blade or hammer. He died by some force that I cannot understand. I will not speak of this further, as he sighs. That is indeed the great question, what happened? Go on then. Speaking of families, the midst of war can feel wrong. In the midst of war can feel wrong. I wish we were back in the north together. Tell me about your connection with your soldiers. Every member of the disfavored is as precious to me as a family. Precious as family. Their bloodlines are known as and respected, their performance incumbent beyond every expectation, and I would go any length in their service. They call me General or Archon, yet I consider myself a servant and guardian of these excellent women and men. But I suspect this isn't what you intended to hear, There's a deeper connection still, but to appreciate it you must understand our history, my rebellion and my rise to power. I think I heard some of this before, like about old children I didn't hear about, but I did talk about these things previously when I could talk to the voices of Nerat and Graven Ashay Poet, or well, Graven Ashay more so because voices of Nerat left. But yeah, I definitely did talk about some of these things, but maybe he tells more about them, so I feel that I should ask about everything again, even though I did ask something about this already before. He told the most horrid jokes, a man after my own heart. Yeah, totally. But yeah, shielding his shoulders. I want to know more about the disfavored. We are more than a mere army. I ensure that the disfavored legion represent everything we hold dear in the North. Rigid discipline, training to perfection, respect for law, and the importance of family. As conquerors, it is our duty to teach the savage lands not just how to live up to the values of empire sets, but how to live for them. Do the disfavored have their own laws? Yeah, laws. Not lands. I read it like lands first. Well, do the disfavored have their own laws? I hold the Legion to a patriarchal set of standards. We don't have laws as you would know them under Tunon's teachings, but every soldier in the Legion is aware of my expectations. The first, honor the Legion in thought and deed. I cannot allow atrocity or heinous crimes to drag my respectable Northmen into shame. I expect my soldiers to follow Kairos' madness. Mandates even, not madness. God damn, I'm reading so poorly. Mandates, and conduct themselves respectably. I gotta be just paying more attention. The second, honor all oaths with your life. Disrespect the vows made to me as Archon and Kairos as Overlord. There can be no formal marriage for the disfavored ranks. This to prevent any obligations higher than the military. My shoulders can pair up and sire offspring as they wish. The North needs daughters and sons, and I would not force my countrymen to choose between family and loyalty. And last, honor your shield and weapon. The maintenance and care of arms and armor are critical to a soldier's success on the field. Kairos' madness works too, yeah. I would think that it kind of worked too, but yeah. Of course, there are the rare exceptions. How do you fare under that shell of iron, son of Parikonen? The Archon regards Barik with interest. Well enough, General. I know I'm not in top form, but I'm able to execute my duties with distinction. As you say, as you say. You regard the Southerners with great severity. Oh, do tell, Ebb eyes alight with excitement. Do we smell bad? Is it the accent? The Legion takes hatred of the Tiesmans and elevates it to an art form. Just what exactly did we do to offer such offense? The South has squabbled in willful ignorance in Kairos' superiority for so long that they don't deserve my respect. As the rest of the Empire coalesced into a united shared culture, the Tiesmen prided themselves as distinct. We looked on to them from afar with nothing but scorn. All that I see in the Tiers confirms my bias. There is lovelessness, neglect, corruption, infighting, everything that the wanted North has disposed of throughout superior breeding and culture. My goodness, of course. Very last joke, yeah, I don't think Dunon would appreciate if I talked about Kairos' madness indeed. Very much indeed the very, very, very final joke ever. That would end up being. But that's true, like they stood against Kairos too originally. And only after that they were part of Kairos' empire, but only after that. You don't see that as contradictory. You stood up against Kairos after all. That happened centuries ago, during the earliest days of the Northern conquest. If you think these periods of history can be easily compared, then you are more short-sighted than I could have imagined. I like what you did here, but one of these days we should sit down and discuss how you talk to an Archon. It begins and ends like this. Don't be so fun, Archon. But I'm just saying the truth. Like, no matter. Besides, can it still not be kind of taught similarly if you consider that, yeah, it happened centuries ago, but it's not like you have been conquering the South, this region, but very recently. So how is it exactly different in that sense? Like, it's not like we've been here also centuries fighting. We've been here very recently only. Relatively recently. Maybe you were more easily subjugated than before. I don't know. Yeah, she doesn't like mentions of his past. Yeah. I stood against the presumptive overlord to defend a way of life that no longer exists. The South can afford no such illusions. Kairos has dominated every corner of Terratus, and claiming these lands by might is already accomplished in all but name. The realm of the South are willfully ignorant of their place in the world, and I will neither celebrate or flatter it with terms like independence or rebellion. With full knowledge of the consequences, the former lords of the South endangered the lives of their people. This cannot be tolerated. Of course, it's possible that these Tiesmans may come to enjoy all the best of Kairos' offerings. But it will take generations of trial and the long-term eradication of culture as they know it. A worthy pursuit by any standard. It does kind of feel wrong though, that like everything has to be falling in line into a very same type of culture. Like, I understand to some degree, but of course I wouldn't be honestly agreeing with that. Yeah, kind of question his commitment with this. I can understand that, but like personally, I wouldn't be questioning his commitment at all. Like, I completely understand that he's a changed man, but I just think that it's rather the fact that like South couldn't be anything different, and just the fact that he still did that back in the day, and look at where you are now. Like, where did it lead? Does that mean that the South can't get into there ever? But he says that only in many, many, many generations. Maybe, possibly. Craven actually starting to remind me of a Measurehead, what with the racial superiority and all that. Yeah, I don't think Ashe is that much about, well, of course he did talk about purity and all that, like, I guess it would mean genetic purity and all, but, and yeah, if he is changed, why is he portrait when you mention his past? Yeah, I guess that's true too. I don't know. Nice to hear the general confirm it, that Yesman are a naturally defiant folk, and you'd have to silence our ways for generations to shake the courage and tenacity out of our blood. Keep talking, Tidecaster. You can join your friends in one of the many mass graves that Littleton realm. To be honest, like, it's totally fair and fine for me, for any one of my party members to say their opinions whenever they wish. So I would say this, even if, like, especially because I'm myself a mage. The fact is, she won't be going and standing against us nonetheless. She is, she said her word that she will be serving me. So she won't be going and betraying me. That's the important part. Like, so the fact that she can say her opinions, I think is fine. Even if, of course, this might not be the best place, but on the other hand, what the heck did I just do? So, sure, I may be the leader, but still. Barrick, that's inappropriate. Epa's just stating an opinion. Yes. Vengeance well was proof that opinions are a poison. I would not have them in this company or in this fortress. A pity that we aren't on a similar mind. Of course. We are an evil empire. Backstabbing and the like is what he is suspecting of you. Yeah, but I'm just saying what I am planning to do or thinking of doing. Yeah, evil empire also means one culture and the eradication of all others. Yeah, like, I can understand that maybe you could try to be getting one empire that would have the same laws or something. So it would mean that some things would have to be the same. Okay, but eradicating all individuality, all differences, having just one completely the same sort of a place, of course, is something that I would want, but, well, I guess we'll see where this will lead. We'll see. Tell me of the units. Most of the Legion is made up of stone shields. They are the bricks of our shield wall, and iron walkers are the trained and efficient killers who prance out from behind the phalanx to fight amongst the enemy ranks. Crescent runners are the fleet-footed light infantry who bait the enemy into premature attack. The outbound are specialist scouts and advanced infantry. Then there are the Iron Court, tempered in the force of war, armored to survive any blow, and commanders of surpassing skill. The only other units are my Earthshakers, the former mages of Cairn who command avalanches and harness nature's fury to our ends. What's the Legion's history? As Kairos conquered the North under a single banner, there were those of us who resisted the call to unification. I was a young warlord at the time, petulant and inflated by pride. I rallied the sons and daughters of the North to stand against Kairos. Our offensive was valiant. We planted our shields wall between the armies of Kairos and our homeland, declaring that no tyrant would dare cross us. Go on. You actually stood up against the Overlord? Didn't I just state even before that he did? Go on. We held our ground for a time, drawing the attention of others who would add their strength to ours. Every victory was discussed and celebrated by other varying factions that refused to submit. As you have witnessed, none can stand against Kairos. Eventually my legion shattered against the relentless onslaught of Archons and soldiers. They brought me in chains before Tunon. He told me that enemies of Kairos would all be put to the swords unless I took that one opportunity to surrender and join the fold. Go on. Out of loyalty and love for my countrymen, I swallowed my pride and bent the knee, offering my sword and my life to the Empire. But yeah, I understand, because for him, everything that he stood for, his empire and all that, or countrymen, were more precious and more valuable than what he individually would have maybe wanted. And now then he serves the empire, and that's how it's been. I can understand that completely. So my army was granted the rise of Kyros's peace, and we lived on as servants of the overlord. Since we had transgressed and rebelled against the offerings of Kyros's protection, my elite legion was stripped of their decorated name and dubbed disfavored, a mocking reminder of our past crimes. Even as we stand above all others in ways of war, we struggle to earn back Kyros's favor. Every soldier in my legion is descended from those who stood with me during the rebellion. I keep them close to me because they were the finest northern stock, and their continued lineage is a reminder of Kyros's mercy. But yeah, what a mercy. Well, I guess they have been able to at least keep a lot of their ways, nonetheless. Always wondered what was the original logo of disfavored. Yeah, that would be a good question. What was their original logo? But of course, the fact that they are disfavored would be the fact that why he wants to prove that he is now on Kyros's side, and I assume that they wouldn't be actually the cause of a lot of the problems and troubles between them and the Voices of Nerat, but who knows? That goes for you as well, Child of the North. By your unwavering loyalty and respect of for our heritage, you are beloved in my eyes. He nods at Barrick. Disgusting. I hope you don't expect me to listen to this sentimental drivel much longer. But of course, Verse is even half Northerner. How much ever she would like or not like it. You sound jealous, Verse. Maybe you just don't know how it feels to be favored by an Archon. Nor would I want to. If the Voices of Nerat takes an interest in you, that's one step closer to having your skin flayed and soon into his tent. Yep, but that wouldn't sound very pleasant. Or something else then. I am not made for idle chatter, but in this case I will oblige. I want to ask about your rebellion against Kyros. You are right to be curious about our history, but it concerns me that you would speak of rebellion. The battles of the past are centuries cold and hard as iron. I think it can help me serve Kyros. It's possible. Kyros doesn't lack for enemies in this lawless territory. If comprehending a rebellion as brash and audacious as mine helps you, then so be it. So, you want to hear how I decimated the armies of Kyros, built my legion around northern values, and achieved a measure of power. It's true that I accomplished much as a northern warlord, but my life began in earnest under the overlord's tutelage. Ah. Interesting. How did you rise to power? That tale is bound to the rebellion itself. I always inspired loyalty and devotion in my soldiers. But as the years wore on, I grew to love them in turn. Every stone shield is as dear to me as a blood relation, and I would go to any lengths to see them succeed. As we know all too well, General, Barrick strikes a fierce salute. When we stood tall against Kyros, the women and men of my legion trained harder, marched further, and endured more than even I had taught them. We were unstoppable. The soldiers credited me this new advantage. I had given them my total commitment, and they felt protected and strengthened by my presence. At first I thought it merely their nature to look to their leader for courage. But nay, they were the first to discover the truth. Jesus, what an image. And then I like how they shit sat in front of an Archon. Yeah, pretty much, yep. Yeah, that is quite of an image indeed. Like thinking, where was I? What truth was that? You mean your egg is... You mean your egg is... I was thinking that that might give me lore skill experience. Woohoo! You clearly paid attention during the conquest. Maekis, as it came to be called, covers my loyal soldiers in a protective shroud. They also have 10 times the endurance and coordination of a standard army, and shrunk off lethal blows without incident. Indeed. Shielding his soldiers from injury and fatigue. At first I attributed the performance of my legion to their training and breeding, but soon it became clear that something greater was afoot. I suspect this redoubled Kairos' interest in me. The power of an Archon is something to be nurtured or stamped out in accordance with Tunon's judgment. Yeah, I guess we can be one of those ones too, either nurtured or stamped, however it happens to be. Once the forces of Kairos viewed my influence over the troops as a demonstrable threat, they resolved to put an end to my defiance once and for all. They sent every army they could spare after us, all but sacrificing the Scarlet Chorus in the process. Eventually, as all detractors do, even I fell. Say nothing. I hope your silence reflects your awe, Fatebinder. Anything less would be a sign of great disrespect. They dragged me to the Tunon's court in chains. I killed 1,000 guards on the journey. If I was to be shackled for the Overlord's delight, I would pay back the indignity in blood. When I knelt before the adjudicator and felt the force of his judging stare, my temper cooled, turning from anger to fear. That's about how I imagined Ari would have coped had she been taken in chains. Ebb chuckled softly, showing only a moment's flash of sorrow for Ari. Tunon offered me the terms of my own sentence. If I walked the path of insupernation, I can't say it at the moment. Like, I know how it's said, but at the moment I can't say it well. Well, whatever. Then the lives of my soldiers were forfeit. If I bent the knee to Kairos, an opportunity that would not present itself twice, then I could continue to serve my legion as the Archon. It was a difficult choice, but not so trying that it paralyzed me. My soldiers had not earned such glory to see it all snuffed out before daytime. Who was Ari again? I thought that it was the person that we could have thrown off from the spire. I assume, but I'm not... Yeah, I was thinking that that's probably who it was, but I wasn't 100% positive. So good that I did get it correctly. After I made the choice, Tunon invited me to a council of Archons, where my loyalties were affirmed, and my place amongst their numbers sealed in a compact Kairos. No sooner had I become Archon to my soldiers than I became an Overlord's Archon of War. That's pretty decent promotion, and earned through a display of strength. Odd that he holds the chorus in such contempt. You already know the rest. My wounded legion became disfavored. The Archon even forced me to cast off my northern surname, Craven. It was a joke at my expense since I buried my pride in the past. I am a vassal of Kairos now, but the protection of my soldiers is secure. I have guided their family lines across generations, and the disfavored show no signs of slowing. Who did you defeat during your rebellion? I defeated Blood Echo, the Archon of War at the time, by leading him into a trap. He must have been so consumed by the fury of the hunt that he overlooked a bit of hasty misdirection. Ashay chuckles and shakes his head. Even the execution of that foe was nothing compared to the victory I would win later. I also defeated the voices of Nerat. The general beams with pride. That's actually interesting that I didn't remember that he also did defeat the voices of Nerat back in the day. Strange to imagine that happening so many years ago, and here we are again. My legion nearly destroyed the Scarred Chorus, humiliated them in fact. I suspect the Archon of Secret is still licking his wounded bride. I wonder if he would remember the conflict differently, or at all for that matter. The voices has a long memory, but a short attention span. Yeah, they do have a short attention span. Or Voices of Nerat has a short attention span. His soldiers are as disposable and unloved as anything can be. The Voices holds his pride and satisfaction in higher regard. He is crafty enough that nothing can wound him deeply, though I seem to have earned the distinction. Tell me about fighting the Archons. We won many battles against the Archons, though we did the most damage against the Voices of Nerat. He was by no means the only Archon to assault our shield wall. When the Archon of Entropy tarnished our weapons, we fought with wood. When the Archon of Sorrow sapped our fervor, we rallied around Songs of the North. I dismantled their offensives, even though I lacked an Archon's education or experience. No doubt this is one of the reasons that Kairos singled me out to join the ranks. What was it like to assume the Archon of War's mantle? Well, at first I was unaware that I had assumed any power beyond my normal authority. It might seem obvious now, but war tends to confuse such things. I had no desire whatsoever to claim or accept as a responsibility under Kairos. It took years for me to fully come to terms with my own surrender and subjugation. But if I was meant for any title in the honored hierarchy of Archons, Var seemed an appropriate one for me. In truth, I think of myself more as general and a father. Alrighty. Enough questions for now. Very well, would you speak of anything else, future? Do you ever wish you had remained defiant to Kairos? That is an interesting question, but probably something he won't exactly like, but we'll see. What is that, Faintbinder? I hope I didn't just hear you utter those words. Ashe narrows his eyes. You're walking a fine line asking the Archon these sort of questions, Fatebinder. I would take care with how you address the General in the future. This is the truth, but I won't be saying this. This is probably what I should be saying, but but I would be interested. Yeah, Voices of Nerat. Bring them in the prisoner. I will interrogate them. Ooh, shiny. Yeah, pretty much. Just like one thing and then just suddenly another thing completely in his mind. Sounds perfectly like him. But yeah, I only ask out of curiosity. It's not trying to imply anything. Yeah, and you never stop to consider that your questioned Nintong going to lead you to astray. I have had officers flocked for less. The educator would not thank me for punishing your curiosity. So I'll spare you this once. I have never second-questioned my decision. Had I remained defiant, my beloved Northerners would have faced execution, and by my own hand I would have followed them to the grave. The North fell to Kairos. I mourned for the old ways even as I served the Conqueror's will, but over the time we rose to become greater than the short-sighted warlords could ever dream. The next time you question my loyalty, remember that I have done in the name of the army and country. I have done in the name of the... I am the Archon of War. If you seek an expert in backstabbing, perhaps you would be better served in the Voices of Nerat's company. I hope we understand each other's. Don't take it personally, old man. I'll apologize. I apologize, Archon. Why even bother posturing for this one? He's hundreds of years old, with just gnats swirling about his head, quickly forgotten. Words are easier to forgive than actions, but take care that you don't offend me in the future. Your guileless questioning reeks of accusations, and most Archons will not heed the difference. I know. Curious, just like with Dunon. How was it? What's up with that mask? Ah, yeah, just curious. But it's kind of bad. Yes, I know. It's a bad thing to be curious, but just curious, that's all. So, we have a realm to conquer in the name of Kairos. What's our next move? Glory to the Overlord, he shouts, and the breastplates of the surrounding disfavored rattle with their salutes. With the voices of Nerat's betrayal of our cause, our mission to control this forsaken peninsula has become all the more dire. We had thought the Ventrian Guard were the final death rattle of this region's defiance. We were wrong. The tears have risen up against Kairos, emboldened by their countrymen, and while the disfavored labor to maintain order. That serpent, the voices of Nerat, crows his army of lunatics and sellswords, preparing to lash out when we least suspect it. So our little exercise in defiance wasn't a total failure. I'll try and find some cold comfort in that knowledge. Well, you try to do that then, Ep. I can only imagine that the voices is driving his gangs mad with plots to storm this fortress. There can be no peace while the voices of Nerat lives, and no order while the scarred chorus rampages across these lands. The elimination of chaos must be our first priority. Then we will have our time to govern the tears as Kairos intended. Can I depend upon your support against this scourge? Well, can they, can they? Tell me more of the tears uprising. I try not to bother myself with the details. These objectors will be dealt with and forgotten soon enough. I know of the Unbroken, a group of former stalwart miscreants that arose in the Blade Grave, arming themselves with a misguided sense of national pride. Beyond them, the dissident elements of this fallen realm interest me little. Well, what would you have me do then, Craven Ash? Or Ashay? Our positions of authority in the Blade Grave is far from secure. We need to establish ourselves in the region in order to cultivate our strength for the battle to come. As soon as I am confident in our chances, we will depart this realm and wipe the chorus threat from the face of the Ratus. The Unbroken, former daughters and sons of Stalwart, vex our efforts to secure this region. The Edict of Storms offers them cover. They slip past our patrols in the light of day, hiding their movements behind clouds of dust and debris. Kairos has cast this blight on the country to set an example, not to plague those of us loyal to the north. You must travel to the central stand and seek out Stratus Herodin. He is the last of the old stalwart bloodline who called themselves regents. Put him to the sword and end this edict once and for all. Ah, we would be trying to end another edict, eh? Who is Stratus Herodin? The last of an elder bloodline that ruled Stalwart and maintained its dignity. Is also a guilty coward. During the Battle of Stalwart, he crouched behind the walls of Central Stand Keep and refused to meet our forces to the fields of battle. Why has no one killed Herodin yet? Because he persists in crouching behind the walls of Sentinel Stand. With the Edict of Storms raging around the citadel, no one has been able to enter or exit since the last year of the conquest. No bird or missive has left the Wind Wall either. The Edict is all the proof we have that Herodin still lives. Why is he so important to the Edict? He would neither surrender nor impel his soldiers to do so. As such, Kairos decreed that storms would ravage the country until the regent was dead. Stratus Herodin was free to kill himself, of course, but he was either too proud or too cutlass for the task. Tell me of the Edict of Storms. Kairos visited this plague upon the people of Stalwart to punish their leaders' cowardice. We are taught the edict would have been dispelled long ago, but to our dismay it endures. The rust and debris filling the air is a source of constant irritation, and hampers our ability to conduct this war on our terms. You should consider the subjugation of Stalwart and the ending of the edict tasks of equal importance. Thankfully, your calls are well matched. The persistence of the edict is tied to Herodin's bloodline. Kairos decreed that the storms will continue until the last of the regents is slain, and the regent to end the edict and return to me victorious. Okay, well, I understand what must be done. I'll make for the plate grave at once. Find the last regent, kill him, end this edict of storms, and staunch this seeping wound of rebellion once and for all. The downfall of the Unbroken and the old regent will send a message throughout the tiers. Our rule is absolute, and dissidence will not be tolerated. Yeah, I will travel to the Sentinel stand and judge by my findings. I will judge there after all. More frat though. If your perspective is as slothful and orderly as it ought to be, the right path should seem clear. The Unbroken must be destroyed and the edict must end. Should you arrive at any other conclusion, I suggest you to stifle your opinion and follow orders like any good soldier. There is one final matter to discuss. My daughter went missing in the second year of the conquest. I have reason to believe she is trapped in the fortress of the Sentinel stand. If you can find Amelia, bring her home to me. I will definitely do my best on that. But yeah, I don't know what I will decide exactly with them, the people there. We'll see if there's some other ways to maybe stop the edict and to get them on our side. But definitely I don't want that Amelia, his daughter, to die. So I do want to help her. Absolutely. I wouldn't be asking that. That's just like asking for trouble. I can ask of him at least a little bit better than about his freaking daughter, the only child he has left. What makes you think she's still alive? Well, he hasn't felt her die. We have traveled together through this fallen corrupt land. You are no doubt aware of the aegis I extend to my troops. It is the boon I grant my daughters for loyal service and devotion to our shared cause. As my army feels my guardianship, I am keenly aware of them in turn. Their concern, their pain, it is my burden to carry as their leader. Amelia is alive. I have woken at night in cold sweats, my bile rising with violence. What torments she suffers at the hands of those stalwart animals is a mystery. I only want her restored to heal in the company of the Legion. Tell me about Amelia. He did tell about Amelia, so I wonder if this is the same. Yeah, it's the same thing. How do you know she is in Sentinel stand? It is the one location in all of Stalwart we cannot reach. If her detachment of soldiers was taken captive, she would have been placed beyond my power. No doubt for the Southerner wretches to use for negotiation. His expression twists with distaste. Okay, I didn't read that though. But yeah, but it seems intercalled her penis a very breath as she draws. That part I did read, but our relationship has endured its challenges. The last several years I have been a better general to her than a father. Once the war is over, and she is restored to the Legion, I hope we can find it in ourselves to know each other once more. I hope so. But yeah, I won't do that. I'll find her, I'll ensure her safe return. Sure, it might be a conflict of interest, but yeah. That is all I ask. Amelia is but one soldier, yet if I had the forces to dispatch, I would make her retrieval my highest priority. She is a commander of the highest renown, and a paragon of the Northern values. Fatebinder, I offer you my support on this mission. The Plate Grave is a place of memory. I left my cohorts to bury them on the ruins, and no small part of myself as well. Could you elaborate? But I know. The matter is a sensitive one, but I fear to speak it in the company of the great general, although he doubtlessly knows it already. Barak attempts to stand tall before Craven Ash. Speak on, son of Parikonen. Nothing I've seen you accomplish in the fields has diminished you in my eyes. And I know my soldiers as well as I know myself. Ash nods with approval. I lost countrymen to by the hundreds in the last days of the Stalwart campaign, and for my troubles I became fused in this armor. The Blade Grave is the last place I ever felt human. That is all I will say about it now. The last battle of Stalwart was a terrible time. Grave Ash actually talking now. The last battle of Stalwart was a terrible time, perhaps most of all for you who survived. I mourn those we lost, and recite their names often during the morning drills. We cannot restore their broken bodies to the north, but we can remember them as they were. And yeah, you have much invested in this mission. Of course, you can accompany me. I appreciate that, Faint Binder. Craven Ashe is attentive and understanding to each of his troops, and it pleases me to see his example in you. And in you, Armored One, never forget that I found you at the mere culmination of your potential, and you have accomplished much in the ensuing years. Thank you, General. Though it's impossible to tell through his helmet, you assume that Barik is blushing. We can at least assume things. Your map is already marked with the position of the Sentinel stand. It would take me 100 lifetimes to forget those old walls or the day the edict shattered our advance. Okay, just something more. Ask, Fate Binder. Yeah, nothing more then. The Unbroken crawls over this territory like ants, unchecked by the Northern boot. Farewell, T. Fare thee well. Yay. What did I do? I thought that did I drink a potion, but I'm not really sure how I would have... I guess I did drink a potion. It's in the 0. I accidentally pressed that, so then she just automatically, yeah, I'll drink that potion. Eh. Well, that's kind of annoying. I guess I should rather put this into here then, so that if I press that button, that then doesn't just go and immediately drink a damn potion. That's a bit useless thing to do. At least I don't need that very often. Oh well. But aren't you curious if she did abandon her duties? Well, but even if she would have, it's not like the T would know about that. I can ask her when we meet her. I can see that, like, well, what happened? Why are you here? Did you abandon your duties? But it's a little bit pointless to ask from her father, who is just concerned for her. Like, it's again, who we are asking from is the difference. I don't see any reason to ask it from him. Don't see any reason for that. That seems a silly thing to do. To ask such a question from a father about their daughter. Like, what would we expect other than to him get mad? Sure, he gets mad that I ask about him too, but isn't it better that I ask in person? Rather than would go around and ask others that, hey, what do you think? Has he regretted it? Like, certainly it's better that I ask him than someone else. That's my opinion anyways. Okay, now there's a lot of different places we could go. We could go to the Keto village. Probably there nonetheless. Like, this is very interesting in the future to do this. And I was considering after all that I might like to go here. It is really something that I'm very interested in. I'm also extremely interested in this. And of course this is interesting too, but I guess this will be the place that I won't be able to visit then, sadly. Because I want to be able to go here. And these locations, obviously. And then I want to be able to find a way to get into this place. Would be funny to see Caned Rat with Ash if you manage to find the girl and ask. Yeah, that probably would still Caned Rat with Ash, to be honest. But hey, from her at least it's a little bit more logical to ask. Still. So. This favorite is still just fine. It's no problem they gain a little bit of rat. Venturing guard, just a lot of rat. Sad times. Train strength. That's actually interesting though. Legion's Crossing, Landry. Barrick has also this now. Blade Grave's Grasp. A powerful attack that traps nearby enemies in twisted spires of rock. Better rewind them for a short time. Interesting. Interesting one. Landry could do this if he would be with us, but he ain't, so that's not plausible. You can at least do that. Siren has just that. The Bindings of Shadow. Hey, we're using them. We are certainly using them. To none. Lots of favor. Some frat. Graven Ash is full of max on favor anyway, so who cares that there's some frat. Voices of Frat is of course they're maxing the fratness factions. How could you say that? I'll mention it to daddy. But yeah, I don't think I want to go here first, so I think this is the place to go first, because that's after all this or this. It's kind of weird that it doesn't show me like I could be traveling there. I guess I want to click on it, because in here it actually shows immediately that I could travel there. But it doesn't do it with this place for some reason. Because I have to specifically choose it like this. Alright. So that's the reason. But I guess this is the good place to go first, and from here we can travel here, and yeah, because this is something we can do for the disfavored at the same time. So Kedo submitted to the disfavored early in the war to avoid bloodshed, and has since been used as a supply depot by Craven Ash's forces. Unfortunately, this has made it subject to Chorus's raid, which have left its survivors questioning the wisdom of their decision. Sad times. Yep. Yep, we shall travel. Ambush! A group of mercenaries, members of the Bronze Brotherhood, are blocking the road to Lethian's Crossing. Well, I'm not going to Lethian's Crossing though, you know. I'm going elsewhere, not to Lethian's Crossing. That's a silly thing to say. And that's your village as well. Indeed. Yeah, I was a governor in Lethian's Crossing, that's why I definitely want to go there. I definitely do. Definitely do. I assume at least that if we think about the map that I can like explore two regions in this same location, all the regions in one location, rather than okay, overall just 3 locations that I can go on and that's it. Where are these mercenaries? I thought that you were ambushing me or something. Then I don't see any sign of you guys. That's just weird stuff. There they are. They are wanting to talk to me. That wasn't in this deal. You must be joking at all. I will pay no such thing. I demand to be let through. Sorry, no one passes through out without paying. Okay. Okay, I guess I shouldn't be hiding then. I can just bravely go where no one else has ever gone before. Aster. A small figure stands before some armor-clad soldiers. His arms move wildly as he gestures in frustration, yelling at the man directly in front of him. Absolutely not. I've come through Iron Hall Trail more times than I can remember. No one ever asked for a toll before, and I won't be paying one now. He notices you standing nearby and turns to speak. Fadebinder, surely you of all people can help me. My name is Aster, and I must get to Elysian's Crossing. I have goods to deliver. Tell this man I will not be paying at all. To him or anyone, and he is to let me go through. He folds his arms over his chest and nods with a pronounced finality. Will. Greetings, Fadebinder. I'm sorry you have been drawn into this. What you've stumbled in here is merely a conflict of the changing times. I am Will of the Bronze Brotherhood. Iron Hall Trail is under our protection, and anyone passing through must obey our rules. Bursary Company from the Free Cities. Have they been then hired by who to protect this road, or did they just choose to do it themselves and be able to get money? Now that's the big question. Who hired them? If this gentleman wouldn't like passing through our land... Yeah, no. He's still talking. If the gentleman would like passing through our land, a simple donation is required. He also holds out his hand. This one's help our cause and keep Iron Hall a safe place for all travelers. Clearly you both can see the value in that. Aster speaks, his arms swinging about again, emphasizing his words. And who exactly is keeping it safe? You standing there with your weapons at the ready against me? His arms drop at the turns to you, and he turns to you again. I'm not but a traveling merchant. I have no money to spare, and I certainly pose no threat to anyone. Keep this area safe indeed, he points at Will. You are the only threat here. Fatebinder, please talk some sense into this man. I don't think I have victory rings at the moment. Anyways. Alrighty, good night and sweet dreams, or well, and thank you for the good luck with the school, small fry. I hope you have a great evening in there, and good night later on, small fry. It was nice having you here. Well... Do I have that much? Can I see somewhere? Do I have that much? And anyways, with the rings, it's quite of a lot to just pay for this. Like, I would like to be asking a little bit more about this full situation. I was gonna just say that I don't have that much gas. Well, we'll see. Do I have 50 rings? I don't think I do. Unless I have to be giving out some merchandise. So, here is payment for the merchant to pass unharmed. 50 copper. 50 copper, I guess it isn't actually that much, but I don't know. Thank you, Fatebinder. You have done a great deal of good today, Aster boasts dramatically. He turns back to the soldier. And you, brute, move aside and let me pass. Will makes an exaggerated flourish and moves out of Aster's way. But of course. He raises an enormous hammer and stops Aster, pressing it against his chest. Dull merchant. Do be sure to have some rings on your own for your trip back. I doubt your friend here will be around to pay your way through these lands twice. He smiles, moves his hammer, and gestures for Aster to continue. Will returns to his position and looks you over, his former genial mood gone. So, a Fatebinder in our little corner of the world. Who'd have ever thought this would happen? He spits between his feet, then crosses it into the dirt with the boot. The reason that I specifically paid is partially because I thought I would prefer him to at least make it safely and get some favor with the Legion's crossing, because if he doesn't, because he's closer to these bandits, if we go into battle, he would definitely be the one to go down first. So, imagine what Tuno would say if you ask him for 50 rings, right? A spike. But yeah, that's the thing, like, that I didn't want him harmed. Might be too much, but while I appreciate your help dealing with the merchant, I am afraid I can't let you pass until you have spoken with our leader, Tomon. Personally, I thought he was crazy saying you'd be visiting Legion's Crossing. Looks I owe him a few rings. He shakes the pouch around his neck, making the rings inside jingle melodically. Not that there's a shortage of those out here. What can this humble servant of the Brotherhood do to you, Fatebinder? And don't ask me to let you through, because that isn't happening. This ridiculous piece of mercenary offal requires a lesson in pain and obedience. Allow me to teach him. If you think you can get him to move, do it, Barrick.
Sellsword, attend to me. I take it it is your responsibilities have been explained to you. I take it your responsibilities have been explained to you. Keep the rabble on the side of the bridge, yes. That does not preclude taking orders from your betters. One of the two things will happen. Either you will let us pass or we will simply pass. There are no other options. Whatever role you have taken upon yourself to bar our way has already failed. You succeed only in delaying our task and annoying me.
Is your name Raetomon? Are you the leader of the Bronze Brotherhood? He cups his ear to listen. No, I didn't think so. Because he decides who crosses and who doesn't. If you have a problem with that, take it up with him. Rat with Bronze Brotherhood.
Essay, forgive me, but I can only endure so much of this fool's inane jabbering.
A floor of rusted metal precedes a deafening crunch as Barrick backhands the mercenary, leaving a significant mark behind. Will rubs his cheek.
Hold on, I'm just doing my job. I apologize if I offended. Raetomon will have my head if I let you through. There's nothing I can do about it.
I guess the Raetomon is here now. Okay, Raetomon. While you are talking to Will, a striking man with a shock of bright blonde hair approaches, moving away from some men searching bodies of slain soldiers to the south. He watches you intently as he closes, his angular features pulling into a look of disdain. And he is the Fatebinder. He doesn't make the displeasure in his voice. He doesn't mask the displeasure in his voice. I knew it would see you. I was just wondering when. More frat. One trip to Lethian's Crossing wasn't enough, Coven, Near the Bronze Brotherhood were the original protectors of Lethian's Crossing, but they passed control to Kairos' forces and stayed as retainers. Over time, they proved too disorganized to keep the peace. You handed the settlements over to disfavored, trusting in the discipline to maintain order. The Brotherhood mercenaries considered this a slight on their lawful claim. I can understand. He doesn't even mask the contempt in his voice. You had to return when no one asked you to come. Throwing me out of my home wasn't sufficient. Are you here to disrupt my life some more? He looks at his men, who stop to watch the conversation. You're done. He flicks his hand at them and they return to their searching. It doesn't really matter why you are here. I don't care. I have more important things to worry about. In case you've forgotten me already, my name is Raetomon. I am First Brother, leader of the Bronze Brotherhood. But I'm sure you already know that. I couldn't help but see you over there talking to Will and that traveling merchant. Only here for a moment and already sticking your nose where it doesn't belong, aren't you? I don't appreciate others invading my territory, Fatebinder.
I told her she had to speak to you, Raetomon. She wanted through, but I told her no. If you don't give me the signal, the Fatebinder isn't getting into Legion's Crossing. No one will invade your territory.
Raetomon stares at Will for a few moments, lips pursed, then continues as if Will never spoke. Watch yourself while you are guesting, my lad. If you come to stir up more trouble, we are all equipped and will not back down in the defense of what is rightfully ours. He sweeps his arms in front of him, gesturing to the surrounding countryside. Welpy and I might not always agree, but that is one point we see eye to eye on. If you step out of line, we will both correct you. His eyes narrow and he leans towards you. You are not welcome here. Makes sense, actually. Beating Tuck's not a good idea with civilians around. Yeah, that's why I just wanted to make sure that the civilian can go through unharmed, even if I don't know what will happen with these guys, because that's a big thing. If they have just chosen to come here and they are not actually doing this under Kairos' law, then it's not like they belong here to do this, sure. But yeah, I just wanted to let him cross in peace. We slapped Will in the end anyway. Yeah, we apparently did. But on the other hand, I kind of would like to be peaceful and nice with everyone, but I kind of feel that this ain't happening with these guys, especially when I was this place's governor before. Now tell me what you want or leave. I'm not welcome in your land. This is not your land anymore. South Arrogance is the precursor to a mighty fall, Faintbinder. I might not currently have control of Legion's Crossing, but we both know possessions are fleeting. Legion's Crossing is my home, and your imagined control over our lives doesn't change that fact. Why are you charging travelers a toll to get through Ironhall Trail? I don't see how the affairs of the Brotherhood are your business, Fatebinder. Suffice it to say, the funds we received from our tolls help us keep the lands around Legion's Crossing safe. We are owed our dues, and we shall have them. But are you helping the matters, or are you making it worse? That's a big question. I don't exactly know. Well, you would do well to watch your tone when speaking to a Fatebinder. Ratioman laughs hollowly. I care not about Kyrus' forces. I've already reaped the rewards of my loyalty, and I will not make that mistake again. You've taken my home, but I will have it back. I won't cover when you raise your voice against me, lapdog. Well, apparently they do want to just try to take Legion's Crossing back, so yeah. They are basically my enemy then. So why is Legion's Crossing so important to the Bronze Brotherhood? We were asked to do a job and we did it. Then what happens? You throw us out of our home. He makes an empathetic gesture to the north towards Legion's Crossing. By all rights, the city is ours, and suddenly Kyrus wants it. Well, I intend to get it back. I refuse to let this matter die. We protected the crossings for years and even ensured Kyrus' forces could do some business here when Nerat asked us to. No, we did the job we were asked, and this land belongs to us. Tell me about Welby. He just looked to the north. I had such high hopes for her as my first axe. The continued success of the Brotherhood should be the single most important goal for anyone who is a member. She seems to have forgotten her place. She is not the head of this band, I am. If she doesn't stop overreaching, I will have to replace her with someone who knows how to obey. Tell me about the Bronze Brotherhood then. We are a humble group with noble long-held traditions, on the side of right and order. Rathamon's voice fills with pride. If there is an injustice that needs to be rectified, we are called. Sounds like you're upstanding citizens. Let's be nice. Wow. Yes, we are, Fatebinder. Rathamon's face breaks into a giant smile, and glad someone finally sees us for what we are. I am tired of people calling us mercenaries and sellswords, so we get paid for what we do. We need to live. That is true, of course. You said you don't do it for the money, but that's why you are fighting over Legion's Crossing. I don't appreciate your tone or the implications of what you're saying, Fatebinder. Rathamon's eyes are hard and his voice is flat. This is a mere matter of principle. We performed the service and we were paid for that service. Don't try to glibly explain away a complex situation. This is our home. This is my home. I will have it no one else. I will have it no one else. Now, if all you came here to do is insult me and mine, I would suggest you leave. Well, I would be needing to go to Legion's Crossing. Rathamon looks at you with an incredulous expression. Absolutely not. You must be crazy if you think I'm letting a disfavored sympathizer through to concert with my enemies. Who knows what plans you would make to undermine my authority? He crosses his arms over his chest. You have some nerve, Fatebinder. First you have me thrown from my home, and now you want back in so you can come up with an even more worse punishment. Well, we'll speak again soon. I certainly hope that isn't the case. I will probably have to fight them, but take guilt disfavored here. Okay, this cannot be allowed. Well, now at least I know what they've been doing here. It's much more organized with Ratium in control, apparently in a bad way. What is now tell me what you want or leave. Still around. I hope you had decided. What is so important about these bodies?
There are some of Kyros's army who wandered too far from Legion's crossing. He spits on the closest body and makes an obscene gesture at it. I will sleep well when they are all dead and in the ground, the only place they are worthy to be. But if they choose to break themselves up like this, it will only make it easier for us when the Brotherhood makes our claim to what is rightfully ours.
How do you plan to take Legion's crossing? Ratheon pulls his head back and looks at you askance. Why would you ask this? His voice drops to a whisper. Is Welby planning to undermine my strategy? Possibly. Maybe I can get to have a friendship with someone else. This Welby. Let's slap Will again. You can't be both peaceful and too non-peaceful at the same time, as these two are usually the opposite. Ratheon said enough for a couple of court charges, for example. Yep, I would definitely say so. I just want to check if there's any other way that I can get across without fighting. If it's not the case, then that's another situation entirely. But if we can get part of them to be on our side, that could be a good thing, so that we don't have to kill them all and have to be enemies with everyone. What about you, Welby? A tall woman stands here, surveying the area from a small overlook. She glances at you and immediately goes back to watching her surroundings. Welcome to Ironhall Trail, Fatebinder of Tunon. With all the running around, I wasn't sure you were going to make it over here. I haven't yet made up my mind if I should be offended you didn't speak to me first or happy I get the final word. I just didn't notice you here. Sorry, Welby. I hope Will didn't vex you too much. He's a good enough sort. He just enjoys his job a little more than he should. The hint of a smile plays across her lips. He thinks he's been sly, taking a cut of every toll, but he's told practically everyone what he's doing by now. Yeah, he seems extremely smart. Did Ratheon have anything of note to tell you, or is he still wasting his time scoring dead bodies for information he'll never find? She looks out and sighs softly. I will admit he has led this group to some minor glories, but I fear how we will end up if something doesn't change. I think I can work with you. She salutes you. My name is Welby, first axe for the Bronze Brotherhood, though I am not sure that title matter anymore. She pauses to gather her thoughts, then opens her mouth to continue. Instead, she exhales slowly and shakes her head. Never mind, you needn't be burdened with my problems. What can I help you with? What does it mean to be a first axe? She sighs. I wish I knew, Fatebinder. The first axe protects and consults with the first brother. I am supposed to be Ratheon's advisor, confident and guard. Lately his behavior has become erratic. He's acting paranoid, manic and distrustful. Yeah, that's definitely the case. Like, he didn't trust you whatsoever. Thinks you wanna be, overthrowing him. And I guess that's something that has to be done when he's starting to be so paranoid. That's not good for you guys at all. It's not good for anyone to have a paranoid leader. Like, surely not. My duty as first axe is to protect the first brother, but I am also sworn to protect the Brotherhood, and if that means the removal of Ratheon, so be it. He has too many supporters in Legion's crossings right now to speak out against him. What do you think has happened to Ratheon? Honestly, I couldn't speak to the cause. The stress of leadership, the battles with Kyros's forces, his night in the old walls. That might be it. She shrugs. When you decided to remove the Brotherhood from the crossing, it certainly set him off. Does it matter? His behavior is endangering the Brotherhood and he must be stopped before we are destroyed. I fear people will be hurt by far more than a simple toll. How would you run the Brotherhood? I wouldn't waste time and resources on petty vendettas, that much I can tell you. I like battle and I like rings, and with the Brotherhood we used to get both regularly. Now all we have is fear, suspicion and plot. I want the discipled regiment back, and I intend to have it. While I may agree that we were treated unjustly, Red Tomon's methods for obtaining restitution are despicable. True, acting like a child when you don't get what you want is not a behavior of a leader. Favor. Except in this case, the child is in control of an army capable of laying waste to his home. Indeed. What can I help you with? Tell me about the Bronze Brotherhood. Well, belove's a little. We're mercenaries, plain and simple. I'm not going to pretend like it's anything more. While it's true we have in recent years been a little more stationary than your typical crew, it doesn't change the fact that our services can be purchased if the price is right. We both know full well that the rings that the voices gave us were the only thing that brought our allegiance to Kairos when the Overlord turned the eye to the crossing. Even if our thanks for helping was to be thrown from our homes. She contemplates you for a moment. Not that I hold any ill will towards you for it. Decisions have to be made and there's always someone who must pay the price. I just hope you realize some people don't like being asked to pay. Ratomon will try to sell you on our long and noble traditions like we're some kind of altruistic saints who can do no wrong, but that story is as old and smelly as Krama's beastman's tail hairs. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to take a job that doesn't seem right to me, but a ring's a ring and I will go where the money leads me. One point Ratomon and I will agree on is this. We did a job to Kairos, but we were not treated fairly. The Brotherhood is strong and we have the numbers. We will fight to the last man. I just don't agree with Ratomon's methods. So why are you forcing travelers to pay a toll? Ratomon will say it's because it's what we're due, and part of me is inclined to agree with him. But if I were pressed, I would say his pride is hurt and he's lashing out. He can be such a child sometimes. She looks quickly at her gods. Just watch yourself around him. He hasn't seemed completely in control of his facilities lately. It's frightening to see what he's becoming. Did you not swear an oath to your leader, Sellsword? I knew that your loyalty was available to the highest bidder, but I never guessed that it extended into treachery. Well, it's a little bit different when whatever he's doing is actually kind of, getting them destroyed. And by the way, Barik, if you just talk about that leader, well, he's against us for sure. We definitely need to kill them all then. Night in the Old Walls? Yeah, that's another thing that is something that he shouldn't have done. And apparently has done. So yeah. Much treachery. Ratomon's plans can tomb our entire troop, and I intend to prevent that from happening. I am loyal, not blindly devoted to someone intent on marching me off cliff's edge. Well, be notes. Buy your leaf, Fatebinder, and be careful. Yeah, I know you guys don't mind me stealing your stuff, but it still feels quite wrong. Cyclical energies. What's that even all about? Learn. Spell accent. So in here something, I guess. No. Spell accent in here. This thing. This thing. What am I talking about? What does this do? Recovery sigil. Ah, that I can get the spell back faster. Makes sense, makes sense. Not that expensive either, so doesn't sound like a bad one for certainty. How much does it cost? Exactly the same, so sure, let's make our at least healing wisps cooldown a little bit shorter. Not that it's ridiculously much shorter, but it's a little bit shorter nonetheless. This can have this. Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see if there's any way for me to work out a way that we don't have to destroy the full Brotherhood. We'll see.
What can this humble servant of the Brotherhood do to you, Fatebinder? And don't ask me to let you through, because that isn't happening. If you don't feel like paying the toll, I can point you back the way you came if you need an idea of where to go, because I can't let you go through. That's such a lie. So my station means nothing. Out in the middle of nowhere? No, your station means not about as much as the whore to an eunuch. He holds out his hand. What a nice idea. Description. Palm up and taps his fingers in the middle of it. Money is what matters to us. He stops, paling slightly at the touch in the red spot on his cheek. Again, no offense intended, those are the rules of Red Hammond set. But I guess I can actually pay just a toll, and then I can try to work on it on the other direction. He laughs. I'll be counting the seconds until your turn. But he didn't say that I can cross, but apparently again he's just asking for a toll, which is kind of strange. Yeah, I'm still around. But I don't think he said that I can just pay the toll though, which is kind of the weird thing. I'm quite certain they didn't say that, hey, I can cross if I pay the toll, but I guess I can try that. Because that would be cool. Of course, I could also try the lie, but it's so unlikely to work out. But I wouldn't like to destroy them all. Because clearly, this wealthy person I could actually work with. If we are possibly able to do so. So, that could be nice, if it's going to be possible, that is. Let's see. Yeah, more frat and positives, but that's not too surprising now, is it? I wonder what the normal procedure would be now. You just heard Rotomon broke one of the Kairos' law. What's your duty? Kill him, bring him to Dunon, Kairos? Yeah, definitely nonetheless he has broken rules, so we will take him out no matter which way. So, even if it wouldn't be right now, yet, but we will take him out no matter what in the future. Let's see, can I pay? I will pay the toll. He reaches for the rings and stops short of taking them and lets out a giant sight. No, you'd better see. Right, I'll catch the bad side of Peaceman's claws if I let a Fatebinder through without an audience. Well, let's try this, I guess. Oh, I already spoke to Ratomon and he said I could pass. Well, smirks and shakes his head. Nice try, Fatebinder, but I don't see a sign of Ratomon. Not even Kairos himself would be getting through here. Fine. It's just that I wouldn't want to just be killing them. I wish I could be talking to him about that. Confront him on his crimes. Because I'm afraid that I will just aggro everyone. I can just talk about the same stuff over and over and over again, so it's like... It's kind of just a slight bit annoying. But I assume that then I have to fight them all if I fight one of them. So... that would suck. I wish I could somehow, like, tell her that I have to do what I have to do. Yeah, but none of this helps me. But yeah, I don't know then if I can in any way get across in the moment other than by just doing the getting rid of him and then probably fighting all of them as a result. Because I don't see how I could anywhere in here. I guess I can take this sort of a path. So I wouldn't have to take a straight path to Lydian's Crossing. So I could at least go into here first and then maybe I can check about something else. Let's see, can I go into here actually? Then I guess I can always come back into here and try to deal with him a little bit later. That seems like an okay thing if I can somehow make it so that we wouldn't have to kill them. Yeah, don't mention Kairos' name casually, Will. So many crimes that they've been committing. But this was the place anyways that I wanted to go in. It wasn't crossing the bridge. So, fine. I'll think about what I have to do there in the future. But first into this location. For some reason I got Control Illusions plus. Confront. Doesn't seem to be a very big map, this place. Most of Kaido's settlers fled as Kor's forces approached. This home, like most others, has been abandoned. Okay, well, here they are. Throw down your weapons, Mouthbreaker Defisio, and I give you my word that you and your men will be brought back to Ash, unharmed. Only the famous hard labor or the executioner's axe. Or does I just forget about the Garons we hijacked? You think you just sweep that under the rug? The soldier softens her tone, but you can detect an undercurrent of something dangerous. I don't deny that you will answer to Craven Ashe. His word is law, and you will find yourself subject to his mercy. The lieutenant barks a fatalistic laugh. I'm already familiar with Ashe's mercy. He doesn't tolerate the Scout Corps, no matter if he had a decorated career. I could earn my name 10 times over under the voices from Nerad, and it wouldn't matter in Craven Ashe's estimate. As far as he's concerned, we're just brigands and pirates, and he credits us for fighting in his war. This one has a fair point. Craven Ashe never wanted Scout Corps to join the invasion and only ever saw us as an obstruction. Makes you wonder how he would have fared on his own. I wager the disfavored would have fought themselves into extinction. Or into a better organized conquest, free of the division or disagreement. Conjecture is pointless, we will never know. It's kinda true, can't know. It's kind of sad that I can only say one or the other. Like, can't I say that it is indeed unknown? Like, that's my opinion. Yeah, but I can't be sure that would have been able to do it completely alone. I think both were needed because there was a lot to do, so I guess I gotta say this. The Scout Corps were critical to this campaign. It just would have needed to be dealt differently overall, or maybe there shouldn't just overall be the voices of Nerad. Maybe he's the main issue. I'm glad that someone thinks so. A girl can't help but feel that the Scout Corps don't get their due. She nods to the argument. This is about to get interesting. Debate all you want, you have nowhere to go. Drop your weapons or die here where you stand. Stuck the options, I have a better idea. His whistle pierces the silence. Get her, boys. As in that they would win. Well, I do not plan to let you kill them. I do not plan to do such a thing, so we shall be heading forward. To be honest, I think you can just go and battle. I haven't even ever used your skills yet. Health drained. Interesting. Restore the health. She has so many, especially AoE attacks that's just like, I wonder which ones should I try to do. Let's get this on. Shame that I can't ever do it to anyone of ours, but so it is, unfortunately. Actually, let's give ourselves at least the energy shield, so that should help us a little bit. Actually, yeah, you go there to help, and yeah. Let's see if the petrification could now then work. That could be cool.
taunt one of these guys so that our guy wouldn't have to be in such a problematic situation. Let's taunt this one. Yeah, the AI stuff. Where could I actually... I completely forgot, like... Let's just take them all off then, I guess. Then I guess they won't do anything that I don't want them to do, and they will exactly try to do what I want them to do. Which would be nice to me. Hehe, success with petrification. Would seem like a nice thing. To me, anyways. I don't remember what these exactly were. Something or another. You can heal a little bit, that's okay. I wonder how good the trust could work against someone that is completely petrified. I have to at least try. Probably didn't manage to hit even, to be honest, but that's okay.
You got it.
You attack on that side, you come from here and try to do some of these, which actually would be like I don't know how that actually affects the air, but interesting, like it affects weirdly. What did it do exactly? Health drained for a certain individual, I guess, yeah. So then health drained from him to her and so on and forth. That's interesting enough. I wonder how that works. Does that hit still worse or not? We'll see. It's difficult to see exactly the cone, how that would influence and stuff. Injured. And doesn't seem like it would have hit her at least. I think it hit this one. Would be nice if it did at least. Tidal burst. Do a tidal burst on him. Why not?
Right.
And you also try to get the... Well, you can't get that guy to yet engage you, so that's okay. Yay, tidal burst. Sure. Let's do this. Did you do the thing that I wanted you to do? I guess yes. Yes, you did that for him, so that's cool. Aw, one of them is dead at least. Didn't manage to save them. Just try to go and engage that person too. So that at least we could save one of those goddamn disfavored. That's a sad thing though, but it's like I can't really help it, can I? Can't really do too much about it. That person seemed to be suffering a lot. Nice burst getting that guy back to right next to him, to be honest. That was pretty cool. Pretty cool, I'd say. Let's see, how does this affect someone that is being attacked? Well, apparently can't see anymore, but I can always try it again. You are bleeding for sure, Whis. I can't do too much about that, however. I don't see any good options for that. Of course you could go... We'll stay vigilant out here, Fatebinder. He shouldn't have anywhere else to run. But Kaipira is alive, but your other fellow did die, so... I'm sorry about that. Wouldn't have wanted that to go on and happen. But can't do too much about that no more.
Right.
Can't you heal your allies? I don't remember. I don't think... Like, I have these healing wisps. I have the shield. But I don't think I have any healing otherwise abilities. Like, of course I do have this with... but I don't... At least I couldn't see that I could be targeting any of them ever. Like, it always seems like there's a cross, like axe. That I can't heal them. That's why I usually try to be just getting them not to attack against... those that I wouldn't want them to attack. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Can't be helped though then. Are you getting back into good health? I guess something happened so that like some of these abilities actually take life away from her then. Because it's a weird thing that she still has lower health because she didn't go down in that battle. So that's the weird thing. Well, Mouthbreaker, Nifshio, and all of these guys. Looks like an easy battle.
Right.
Guess there's no way out. Hey you, I'm assuming from that look on your face, you're not here to help me escape. He eyes you with suspicion. No, I'm not gonna say that, so turn yourself over to the disfavored and be spared. As if I would ever believe such a lie. I just as quickly run my blade through my guts and face a swifter death. But I'll start by killing you. It would be boring to die alone. Yup, head out there fast. Let's go about and do this death from above, because I don't like this fella whatsoever. That's for sure, Reese. Sure. How far can you do it? Actually, 8 meters, that's not too bad. And you guys would be doing that one. And then try to get this to also attack you. Should be able to engage you too, though. That's a shame, a sus.
Rush.
Sure, do the Phantom Fold as well. That should be the same sort of a range, yeah, range even more. That's okay-ish, it's not great, but at least like they are all close to Barrick. But I definitely do need something like a mirage image for myself, otherwise I will be dead sooner or later, certainly enough. You go and run here then. Like, can't I just like run here? Fine. Apparently I cannot. Go. It's so annoying when it's like in a situation that just can't go and get anywhere.
By your command.
Having to try to make space. At least Barrick is the one that is really in the middle of them all at this moment, so that's cool. Heal me. I would like to get this for Barrick though.
I'm on.
Sure. Concussive bolt on this individual who is trying to attack me specifically, because I don't think that would be nice. Sure, do this.
Await my signals.
Unstoppable!
But yet, that at least taunts them for certainty against him, so we haven't ever done that before, so that's nice that we were able to do that at least. I would like to still get this guy killed, if in any way plausible. Did you do it? I think you did, so that's cool. But let's try to kill the one that is actually wounded. Because the other one definitely ain't. Can you still now then do this?
We'll have your head.
Okay, Barrick ain't doing that great though, considering now there's a lot of enemies attacking him. Would so like to just kill this individual, but it's easier done than said. Or easier said than done. What the heck am I even talking about? Well, I guess you can try to do this. The problem is that he also needs some extra health soon.
I got it.
Okay, did I manage to petrify? I think so, yes. So at least one individual who would not be attacking against Barrick, so that would be nice. Take a 1 potion, just to be on the more sure side so that you wouldn't get yourself killed. I guess you can still try to be killing these individuals just so that we could try to do it. He should be almost done for...
Will do.
I'm not exactly sure. I guess you did do it. Yeah. As such, I would assume that Barrick would have more defense against electricity anyways at this moment, considering... Yeah. Let's see it, because we did give him the defensive, like, this thing. So I would imagine that he shouldn't be able to take as much damage from that. So... give this also for him, if you could. That could be nice. I would really just like to kill this thing.
I got it.
Okay, at least that Bloodshander is dead, finally.
Anyone else?
Lots of AoE damage at least to a lot of these guys. A lot of them took a lot of damage. I don't just know where this would repel at the moment, so might not be the best of ideas though. Like maybe you could try to do this for yourself, but... really like to be just killing some of these guys soon. If possible. Okay, one of them is dead. Cool. I guess it's also the fact that it's still taking all the time some AoE damage. I am very close to being dead, but... I guess am I taking all the time some damage, or what is causing me to lose so much health? Well, try to do this then, I guess, for the moment. If that might help. I could try that too, otherwise, but not sure if that's the best at this moment. Yeah, let's just try to kill this one first, when we are so close to doing so.
Take that.
Okay, so this at least gives me a little bit of a better alive, because I think it's especially this person who is attacking against me, so let's just try to get them to actually concentrate properly on Barrick right about now. Give him some Mother's Embrace then.
Come and feast my iron!
See if you can petrify this individual, and you could. The petrify is actually working really nicely when we have the accuracy on it. I do like it. I do like it. So we did it. It was a little bit difficult and we did use some of our special abilities, but we did it anyways. So that's okay. We managed to do it. Phew. Alrighty.
Ah, got it.
Light bronze, rich helm. Guess
Moving
nothing that we
cautiously.
can spot here. Guess not. Alright, it's done. Done. We dealt with him. I could hear the squeals from out here. I owe you my thanks, Fatebinder. Alrighty, let's just check the rest of the locations then, and then we can be heading off.
You didn't see
Can't do
nothing.
that.
If we can find some treasures that might be hidden over here. What? I guess that might be a long shot. I think not very likely to happen, at least anymore. This is probably a pretty good place to end, to be honest, but let's see. Can I actually try to travel here or not? Yeah, it's not possible at the moment if I don't go and deal with this situation, so I guess I must. Even if I would prefer not to, but I guess I just have to try to battle them. But hey, we came into here where we actually were heading anyways. I guess we can start already traveling there anyways, at least. So we can be ready. Yeah, have to resolve those dudes. We'll see if we have to kill them all. Would prefer indeed if I just had to kill the one leader and whoever are especially on his side, but we'll see if that will be plausible. But okay, I think this is an okay place to end for today. Like I said, I have to still read and everything, do some things, do some tasks. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed some more Tyranny. I will most likely also stream indeed Yakuza 0 on Sunday, so hopefully see you guys then. And you're welcome. So I'll end the recording here first and foremost. So thank you everyone for watching here on the Twitch streams and later on in YouTube as well. And see you for more next time then. So thank you and bye bye.